All right, we're on page 168. And we've been discussing conceit, arrogance, due to religion. How somebody can, because of how religious they are, look down at other people. And Rabbeinu Avraham, the son of the Rambam, is telling us that defeats the whole purpose of being so religious. It would be quite foolish to think that your arrogance allows you to be religious. Remember, he told us, if you're so religious, then how could you be arrogant? Don't you realize that arrogance would be a psul, it would be a problem in your level of observance. And if you really are so religious, then you have nothing to be arrogant about, because those who are closer to Hashem are more closely scrutinized by Hashem. And therefore, you might be liable for things that the regular person is not liable for.
Yeah, that's weird.
Says Rabbeinu Avraham, "Uma shebi'alti b'inyan ha'anava hadatit." And the last thing he told us last week was that a person should not say, "Oh, but the Talmud says that a person is not allowed to consider themselves evil, and so that's why I'm so proud, because I am righteous." Marlene, you want to come closer somehow? We make room for Marlene here.
I don't want to disturb everybody.
It's okay. Come on.
Where's the seat? Right here. Thank you. Sorry. You could move that.
And the bottom line, the reason why we said that, why a person should not consider themselves evil, is because if I consider myself evil, then I'm never going to do good. I'm always going to despair from being a good person. If I'm evil, if I'm bad, then why bother doing good? And if our rabbi said it's a dangerous thing to consider yourself evil, but just because you can't consider yourself evil, doesn't mean you walk around all day arrogant about how holy you are. There's a balance in the middle. Umash bi'alti, the last paragraph here. And that which I've explained, binyan ha'anava hadatit, regarding religious humility. En kavanato shetireh atzmecha pachot tzadik mima she'ata be'emet. That does not mean to say that you should consider yourself less righteous than you actually are. I spoke about this on Shabbat, in which I told you that Rabbi Moshe Feinstein was once in a court, and he was under oath, and he had to tell everybody that he was the greatest rabbi of the generation. And when someone said, "How could you say such a thing?" That was, what kind of humility is that? I said, "I was under oath. I was asked for the truth." It's not like I walk around everywhere acting that way, but when under oath, Moshe Rabbeinu, in last week's Shaar, writes, "Vayish Moshe anav mikol adam." Moshe is the most humble of all. Who wrote it? Moshe Rabbeinu. I quote you the Gemara at the end of Masechet Sotah, which two rabbis said, "Hashem, don't give me humility, I already have enough." Oh, what kind of person says that? Because a person who's true about themselves knows how great they are. I was once sitting with two rabbis, and I asked one of the rabbis, I said, "You know, someone said that what you said was incorrect. Who approves of your book? Who approves of the teachings in your book?" And so the other rabbi jumped in. Rabbi A jumped in about Rabbi B. And he said, "Rabbi B is the Gdol Ador. He's the leader of the generation. He doesn't need anybody's approval for his book." So I looked at Rabbi B, and Rabbi B said, "He's right. He's right." And that's a closed door meeting. I would never tell you who was there. Yeah, but it didn't come from a place of arrogance. It came from a place of, I know who I am. One of the 48 ways to acquire Torah. You know, there's a Pirkei Avot. There are 48 ways in which a person must acquire the Torah. You familiar with what I'm talking about?
Not as well as we should.
Maybe you could pass me one of those Art Scroll, the blue books.
Is that right before the Kaddish Rabbana in the morning?
Thank you.
Before Hodu?
I know, those are the 13 attributes of which the Torah has learned. These 48. In the 6th chapter of Kehillat, which is in here. On page 332. Gdola Torah yoter min hakehuna umin hamalchut. Torah is greater than being a king or being a priest, the holiest of holies. שהמלכות נקראת ב-30 מעלות, the malchut, kingship, is acquired with 30 character traits, והכהונה נקראת ב-24, and כהונה, priesthood, ב-24. והתורה נקראת ב-48 דברים, and the Torah requires 48. ואלו הן, and these are them, בתלמוד, you have to learn. Okay, first step to knowing Torah, learning Torah. בשמיעת האוזן, with listening. בעריכת שפתיים, with the proper speech. בבינת הלב, with a heart that understands. בסיכלות הלב, with a heart that has intelligence. באימה, with awe. ביראה, fear. בענווה, with humility. בשמחה, with joy. בטהרה, with purity. בשימוש חכמים, one must have studied an apprentice under other Torah scholars. בדקדוק חברים, people say, oh, I don't need smicha, I'm a rabbi without smicha, I don't have to learn from anybody else. The answer is that one of the 48 ways to acquire Torah is that you must have been a student of somebody else. Because it's not enough, Torah is not just a book, Torah is a way of life, and you have to learn it from somebody who lives that way of life. בדקדוק חברים, with having friends that are particular, close friends. בפלפול התלמידים, with students that are sharp. ביישוב, with proper tranquility, במקרא, במשנה, במיעוט, with the study of the Tanakh, with studying of the Mishnah, במיעוט סחורה, with doing less business and more Torah study. במיעוט דרך ארץ. It's interesting here, the rabbis are split as to what it means, דרך ארץ. It could be either a person with their wife, or it could be just being involved in the ways of the world. במיעוט תענוג. A person has to minimize, lower the amount that they enjoy from the world. במיעוט שינה, with less sleep. במיעוט שיחה, with speaking less. במיעוט צחוק, with less lightheadedness. בערך אפיים, with patience. בלב טוב, with a good heart. באמונת חכמים, one must believe in the sages. You learn from somebody you don't believe in. בקבלת הייסורים, with accepting the suffering that comes along with giving up everything to study Torah. How many people do I know that they were willing to give up a lot to study Torah, but their families weren't. Their parents, not necessarily, their spouses, not necessarily. And so they had to leave Torah because it's hard. And then, this is what I wanted to read to you. Hamakir et mekomo. Somebody who knows their place. What does it mean I know my place? I normally quote this to tell you, don't be too holy. You're not Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai does something, doesn't mean you have to do it. But it can go the other way also. If you want to truly accept the Torah, to understand the Torah, you have to accept your place. I am a great Amichram. I am a big tzaddik. You have to know who you are. Not a fake way, a real one. Who are you really? You have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, so how could you expect to acquire the Torah? But the next step is beautiful. And that tells us that a person has samach b'chalko, be happy with your portion. So I know who I am. I know what I'm able to accomplish, and this is where I want to be. I'm happy with who I am. Doesn't mean I don't want to grow, but I could grow, but I'm not going to beat myself up for being where I am right now. Most people don't think like that. Most people a person wants to go on a diet. Why do they go on a diet?
Looks like
They want to lose weight. Why do they want to lose weight?
Health reasons, feel better.
For
about
health
themselves.
reasons.
impress other people.
They want to look better, whatever reason. It's a good thing to be healthy and to lose weight. But that's not the goal in and of itself. And a person can hate themselves. I hate the way I look in the mirror. That's why I want to lose weight. That's a terrible thing to do. First love yourself, and then because you love yourself, change the way you look. But not because you hate yourself. Okay, there is a long list now. I'm not going to do the whole list now, but Hamakir Mekomo. So a person has to know, where am I? Who am I? Where am I in the level of righteousness? So don't consider yourself and say, oh, you're a very big Torah. No, I'm nothing. I don't know anything. Don't say that. I said a sentence here on Shabbat that some people were uncomfortable. I was giving a class. And I have classmates. Some of them may be much bigger Talmidei Chachamim than I am. And someone might I saw someone's face. They reacted like, what are you trying to say? You're Talmidei Chacham. That's just, I'm not afraid to tell you. I learn a lot of Torah. If I'm like my friends, maybe not. But I don't take away from myself because of somebody else. But there are people in the world, Baruch Hashem, and the problem in our world is that we're taught, even if you have a talent, suppress it, hide it. Don't be so haughty about it. In fact, the people in the world that are so proud of their talents are not very, some of the most well-paid people in the world. Professionals, you call them professionals. are people who have nothing in between their ears, but they know how to kick a ball very far. They know how to throw a ball very far. So what's so good about it? Tell me, I want to understand. And you go to the monkey exhibit in the San Diego Zoo, you'll see also monkeys know how to throw balls. I'm not taking it away from you, you have a talent of a sport. But if he's able to be proud that all he knows how to do is kick a ball. Unbelievable, I was in the old city in Yerushalayim and I saw these Arab teenagers practicing soccer. They're bouncing the balls on their head. That was an incredible thing. When I think about my head, what I want to use my head for, the first thing that comes to mind is not to bounce a ball in my head. But you know what? Fine, if that's a person's talent. But if he's able to be proud about his head because he knows how to bounce a $3 inflated balloon on it, so why can't you be proud of what you have inside of your head? Why not? Because he makes $7 million a year and you maybe not. So what?
Not even close.
The world is upside down. I see an upside down world. Why is that person so famous? I was once at the Federation dinner here in San Diego, and they had, I'm not going to mention his name, some famous sports star. He came into the room, and everybody stood up for him and clapping for him, and he spoke. And had nothing interesting to say. And I sat there looking at a person. He's famous because he's wealthy, because he knows how to dribble a basketball. Nothing else. And everybody in this room is jealous of him. In a real world, you wouldn't be jealous of him. You would send him to special education to get tutored for he doesn't know how to read a book. So why are you jealous of him? But the world is upside down. You want to be proud of him because he's accomplished in sports? I let you be proud of him, but don't put yourself down compared to him. The only thing that Rambam says that separates us between an animal is our mind. It's the only thing, because animals can do all the things you think you can do. The guy who can run fastest in the world can't run faster than a cheetah. You have animals in the world that could jump. I just saw a cat jumping over a fence. I don't know, some Olympic jumpers can jump over a fence. But a cat can do it also. Doesn't even think about it. You don't give a cat an award for jumping over a fence. Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, for our whole lives, is focused on perfecting our mind, our heart, our soul. The things that make us different from other creatures on earth. So if you are doing that, so be proud of yourself. You wake up in the morning and you say, Brachot Hashem, thank you for not making me like everybody else in the world. I'm not saying it to put down everybody else in the world. I'm saying thank you Hashem for letting me perfect myself in a way that other people normally don't think about. That's all. And I'm allowed to say such a thing. אלא שתחשוב כי הדרגה שאתה נמצא בה נמוכה מאוד לעומת מה שלמעלה ממנה. On page 170. He said all you should think about is the level that you're on now is much lower than a level that's higher than you. ולא תזוח דעתך עליך, that way you won't be conceited. So you'll sit here and you'll say, listen, I am this accomplished. I have this much Torah knowledge. I pray this much. But you know, I'm very proud of myself. I am. I'm holding in a good place right now. But there's a higher level that I didn't reach yet. Why don't I yet have Ruach HaKodesh? Why not? Who told you you can't have Ruach HaKodesh? Who exempted you from this? So stop and say, listen, I'm happy with where I am, but I'm not going to start being arrogant towards other people because I know there are other people in this world who are already surpassed me by far. So be proud of yourself, but don't put down other people because of it. That's all. So think about what's above you, just so that you don't get so arrogant because of where you're standing right now. ועכשיו שביארנו לך מה שביארנו בעניין החינוך המוסרי והדתי וההתבוננויות המביאות לידי ענווה. Now that we have explained the training through behavior and Torah and the thoughts that engender humility. נסיים דברינו בביאור החלוקה שהזכרנוה בתחילת פרק הענווה. We will conclude with a clarification of the different aspects of humility which we touched upon in the beginning of this chapter. ונאמר, we'll say, כי הענווה הפנימית הנזכרת שם צריכה להיות נחלת כל הולך בדרכי השם. That inward humility, which is what we're talking about, must be upheld by all who follow the paths of Hashem. ולא תשנה אותם שום תמורה חיצונית ושום מקרה ממקרה הזמן. And no external status or any circumstance should disturb your inner humility. Doesn't make a difference how wealthy you're going to become. Doesn't make a difference what kind of house you're going to live in, what car you're going to drive, how incredible your children come out. If you win a Nobel Prize, I don't care what happens. It's not enough of a reason to shake you from your humility. Your humility means I accept where I am. I know that I have where to grow. And even if I'm accomplished, I did accomplish something, and I know that I accomplished something, I won't let it get to my head. I won't let it turn me arrogant. King David, who's greater than King David? No, David HaMelech. The more people study about David HaMelech, the world would be a better place.
Well,
David
sure,
HaMelech is incredible. David HaMelech is, you know David HaMelech? When you have a hard day, just think about David HaMelech. There is no hell on earth that David HaMelech did not go through. His own son tries to kill him. It's bad enough to overthrow you, but to kill you? You think your teenagers are bad? You think your kids are bad? They didn't yet lead a national rebellion to murder you. And David HaMelech still loves his son. How we read on Shabbat morning. A Tilim of David. B'vocho mipnei Avshalom beno. When he's running away, he's writing the song as he's running away from his son Avshalom. Every Shabbat morning we read that Tilim. This is David HaMelech's Tilim on the go. Every time, I tell you, foolish people made Tilim into a foolish book. Tilim became the inheritance of all kinds of groups of people reading Tilim who don't understand what they're saying, and they do it so that you can get married, and they do it so you can do this, and they do it to help the world, and they do it to bring world peace, and they do it when they like. And Tilim became this very strange, superstitious Jewish experience. Tilim used to be something that every Jew knew and read and believed. I have a tzara, I have a problem, so there's a chapter that David HaMelech wrote about your problem because he had it too. And to read those words, it's a prayer. It's not, Tilim is not some hocus pocus. You read it and the world is to go upside down and then everything goes away. It's to connect. You're connecting to the words of a great tzaddik who wrote words that he personally experienced. So he simply phrased our tzarot, our problems, better than we can. But to connect to those on a real level, to learn through Tilim. You know how many thousands of commentaries there are in Tilim? People don't sit and study Tilim with commentaries. They just mumble Tilim. Netanel and I spoke about the mumbling of Tilim. What's the point? Tilim is the deepest book of tefillah that was ever written. So David HaMelech, Shlo shinta oto malchuto. David HaMelech was not changed because he became a king. So David HaMelech goes from bringing this runt of his family, this nobody that nobody wants. Nobody wants David HaMelech. You think of Cinderella, but this story is real. You think about a person that everybody's making. He's from a broken home, an abused family. Nobody cares about him. He has brothers, but everyone loves them, but not him. And one day, out of nowhere, the prophet of the generation shows up on your doorstep and says, "Hey, you, the one that nobody wanted, come. You're going to be the next king of Israel." You know what that does to that person? To celebrate would be incredible, but I wouldn't blame him if he got a little bit arrogant. Look at me. I told you so. I told you I was special. You're making fun of me my whole life. That's what I would do. I would be proud. David HaMelech doesn't change. He stays the same humble, silent person that he was always. David HaMelech says, like he said about himself in Tehillim, "V'libi chalal b'kirbi." My heart is emptied within me. I don't walk around with any chip on my shoulder. And he says in front of Hashem, Adonai lo gava libi v'lo ramu einai. Hashem, my heart is not proud, and my eyes are not haughty. And you see throughout David HaMelech's life, this is what he's doing. Remember when David HaMelech dances in front of the Aron Kodesh, in front of the Holy Ark? Who gets mad at him?
His wife.
His wife. Why is his wife mad at him?
Because he looks like a fool.
He looks like a fool. You're the king of Israel. Stand straight. What are you jumping around like a little child at a circus? Why does she feel that way? You ever thought about it?
She cared what other people thought.
Let's not judge her badly. She was a big righteous woman. Why?
She came from a family of kings, and
she came from a family of kings. She knew what a king is supposed to look like. She's royalty. David HaMelech is not born royalty. He's married into royalty. And David HaMelech says, "Listen, I don't care what they do, and was it, a few years ago, one of the princesses of
There
England
wasn't
got
all
married.
protocol.
Remember what I was talking? You know, the big wedding that happened in England.
Oh,
One of the princes
royal
and the royal wedding, and the whole world is watching what's going to happen in the royal wedding and what flowers they're going to have and who steps in first and who's this and who. All shtuyot and nonsense. The Rabbi says, "This is what you spend your time in. I am a king of Israel who follows the Torah. I'm going to dance for the Torah." What do you mean? But you're the king now. So the same small shepherd boy that I was then didn't change just because I became the king. The good things for the kingdom he accepted, but the bad things. David HaMelech is cursed out. Remember by who? Who curses him out? Who?
Shaul.
Shaul chases him. Who curses him?
That guy ripped in the river.
Shimi
ben Gera.
Shimi ben Gera. Very good. Oh, tuition's paying off. Shimi ben Gera. If someone curses a king in public, it's a death penalty. There's no questions asked.
Yeah.
And you see that David HaMelech, before he passes away, he commands his son to kill him. Because that's the law. The law is he's liable for the death penalty. So why doesn't David HaMelech do it? Because for the law, he has to keep the law. But David HaMelech for himself couldn't care less if somebody cursed him in the street. He didn't want to walk around the street saying, "Oh look, I kill whoever curses me." It's a greatness of David HaMelech. Wherever you find his greatness, you find his humility. That's what we say about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's a good example of how to be the greatest king on earth. We still say David Melech the King David lives on and on. And yet he was the most humble of all the kings that we ever had. And regarding the outward humility, הנה יקרה לפעמים כי לטובת הדת יצטרך לשתות במקצת מדרך הענווה כמו שיבאר לענן. Page 181, he's going to talk about the times in which a person has to deviate from the path of humility. The king, the leader, the president, the rabbi, the principal, the parent, sometimes has to, they say to your kid, "Don't talk back to me." Imagine you were at the bank and someone says to you, "Hey, don't talk back to me." You look like a fool. So what can you say to your child?
You're teaching him to be respectful.
So sometimes you have to deviate from humility if you're in a place of leadership. But it's not there in order for you to... Someone really thinks their child has to talk to them respectfully. They're wrong. The reason it has to talk to you respectfully is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them to respect their parents. Nothing to do with you. And so there's a way to do that while having inward humility and yet outwardly looking like, "Hey, you need to respect me." It's the way that our rabbis tell us that if a person is to punish their child, don't do it right away. Because punishment out of anger is very dangerous. Wait, give it an hour, give it a day. And then when you discipline them, you're doing it out of, this is what I need to do as a parent, and not because I'm upset right now in the moment. It's an important thing to know sometimes you have to put on an appearance. You have to put on some kind of mask. I once had a rabbi who, whatever it was, 12th grade, I missed a number of tests that I was supposed to be taking. Why? I was busy with nonsensical things. The fourth day I missed a test. And he came over to me. I know, Rabbi Rosenbaum. It was the one who was here. He only whispers. He can't talk louder than a whisper. And he screamed at me. I still remember till today. So upset at me. "Who do you think you are? You come to my class." And I'm very close to him. I was close to him then. I was like broken. Oh my gosh, I made him so mad. I can't believe it. So 2 hours later, I sat down with him and I said, "Rabbi, I can't believe I caused Rabbi to scream at me." And he told me, he said, "Yonatan, even if I wanted to, I'm not able to scream at anybody." That's what he told me, like this. And then we sat down. I realized he wasn't even upset at me. He wasn't upset. I was speaking. It was absolutely okay. But as a teacher, he had to say what needed to be said. So I would come and apologize and talk to him about it. And there was no nothing emotional there. There was no hang up. There was no. And I learned from that a very important message. Sometimes you have to say something, but you don't actually. It's not like your heart and passion and soul is in it. It's just important that it needs to be said. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night.